Delighted to be here with all of the audience where I can share my experience and knowledge on big data and AI for urban and regional planning. So I think this is given the webinar, I think it would be good to have an interactive session. Instead of I go through slides, what I do is I pick up the topic here and I dissected this into big data. I have notes and AI and future development of cities and digital twin and smart city, and 15 to 20 minute city, balance between green space, infrastructure, and transportation safety, and how we manage the urban fringe and urban sprawl in going forward. So let me put that together in a presentation or let's say interactive type discussion. And please feel free to interrupt anytime. So before starting that, I would like to provide the context here as well. We do have ongoing collaboration with Indonesia on prime engineering project on top of all these initiatives that we are doing in urban and regional planning. So we have the seed funding projects going on with UE and other universities in Indonesia, and we will be looking into more longer-term projects within prime engineering. So I'm the coordinator for that, and I will be in Indonesia, and I look forward to having meeting with all of you. So with that, let me start with big data. So when we are thinking about big data, let me present a case from space or air or ground. We do have satellite data from space. We do have air data, like for example, from aeroplane or any other platform, and ground data like Internet of Things. And in the big data space, we do have data like social messaging and human as a sensor. So the question, the big challenge comes here, how we harness the information to authentic knowledge and then use that knowledge or wisdom in planning the cities that we want to make the sustainable cities. How we can integrate all these information, knowledge, and wisdom to form a sustainable city that could be very healthy, having air quality, having transportation safety, and having proximity to the facilities, like, let's say, supermarket to hospital to schools. So that's a challenge, or that's what we want to develop going forward in urban and regional planning space. For that, AI can be used as a tool. When you think of AI, this will come to like machine learning, deep learning, and large language models. At the moment, we are experiencing with the OpenAI and ChatGPT, or let's say GPT, these are large language models. With all these advancement and technological, let's say, advancement, we shouldn't be using AI as the planning solution. For me, AI is a planning tool rather than planning solution, right? So with this now, big data and AI can be leveraged to plan the sustainable city. So if we go with the machine learning, deep learning technologies, then we can have the intelligence in an efficient way where we teach to the machine. So we, as an expert, would be able to teach the machine to get the efficient and intelligent results. That we do. Now, if we look back to future development of cities and how we can integrate AI and intelligent data modeling in different stages of city. So we want to have the scenario of city in different stages, and we can slice the city development scenario and timeline, a period. For example, keeping sustainability as a key focus. So with that in mind, if we can slice and visualize that the future projection of city, that will give us better knowledge how the city will be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 200 years. For example, as we are in the new capital city of ETN in Indonesia, then how we can plan it for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 100 years, or 500 years, a projection that we can slice it and then get a better idea and plan. So that's one example of AI and intelligent data modeling can be used together. And the tool that we can use for that is a digital twin as an evolving technology. But when digital twin will come into play, so it is not that easy. We need to be looking from the level of detail. What level of detail we want to capture in digital twin? Let's say we want to capture the building infrastructure or the road infrastructure or the transportation safety. All these physical things as well as the process that's happening out there can be captured in digital twin environment. But how to maintain the digital twin is a challenge. So we can develop by using AI and machine learning and deep learning the management scenarios of digital twins. And this will help us to create the 15 to 20 minute city and to help support people or the stakeholders in the environment. If, let's say, there is an event happening, how we make a decision for that event. We can use these digital capabilities for that. The other element, when we go there with planning in our head, how to balance between green space, infrastructure, and transportation safety. When we think about green space, we can think of back garden or fore garden. So these are the originator for water runoff, air quality, and maintaining water runoff, air quality in the city. So how to plant the trees, for example, if we feel that the green space is lacking in certain area, and how to monitor and map the abundance of green spaces using the machine learning and AI or deep learning technology, we can do that mapping. And the periodic mapping will help us to manage the vegetation. Urban vegetation or urban green space is so important in the city lives. So with that, I think big data and AI has a crucial role in managing urban and regional planning with a focus on cities. Given the population is growing in cities environment due to the opportunities available in the cities. So people from remote areas are moving to cities or settling in for better opportunities. But as a planner, as a government authority, or let's say planning authority, we need to be thinking on how we can provide the service to this increasing population in the city, how we can provide the better health system, how we can provide the supermarkets in a very convenient distance, the proximity, how we can provide the schools or the education, good schools, to the suburbs, to the, let's say, residential areas. So these all can come under the planning environment. So this is not an easy task, but we can put together all the parameters or variables, and then we can optimize this for better solution. So I will stop there and I will open up for any questions or any curiosity going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Jagannath. So, does the participant have any question to ask about Dr. Jagannath's presentation? Since this is an interactive session, I think I would like to ask something to Professor Jagannath, especially about the usage of AI and IoT to form a sustainable city. So one of my questions is, regarding cities like Nusantara or IKN. So how do different cities like Nusantara, an established global city, incorporate AI and big data into their planning to address national challenges, such as urban sprawl or maybe traffic congestion or energy use? Can it be used by, can it be a solution, and can we use AI and also big data to as a problem-solving solution?
That's a very good question. Thank you, Nadia. In the city like IKN or Nusantara, absolutely, we can use this by creating the scenarios. For example, let's say we have the big data from satellite, big data from air, and big data from ground, like Internet of Things. So what sort of sensors we are deploying in the ground, that way we will have the data sets of the ground. Let's say we have atmospheric conditions that we want to capture in certain interval of time. Let's say in the morning when the traffic is heavy or everyone wants to go to work around 7:30 or 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. What is the atmospheric condition during that period? And what would be in the afternoon and what would be in the evening? So as an example, once we have the IoT or Internet of Things data sets in those slice of time windows, then that will give us knowledge and how we can plan the transportation for that period to avoid the congestion. Let's say if there is very much crowd in those periods, how we manage that crowd using those data sets we can do in real time. For one thing, as an example. The other thing that we can do in the city environment is we want to have 15 to 20 minutes travel to reach to, let's say, a shopping mall or a facility or a hospital or a school, and how we design the network of roads so that from each of the location we can be there in 20 minutes. So that network can be designed in a digital environment, and then we can replicate that scenario. What would be if we deploy, let's say, this many vehicles in the road, and that will create slowness, or that will create some sort of traffic crowd that can be managed. So this sort of basically what if scenario is the key to develop by using big data and machine learning. Machine learning will help us, like within the AI umbrella, we have different algorithms like machine learning, deep learning, and nowadays with large language models. So we can differentiate AI into three different categories of machine learning, deep learning, and large language models. With the machine learning, we do have algorithms. With the deep learning, we need to have the labeled or the reference data sets, what we want to predict using deep learning. In there, we need to have so much granular data sets where IoT sensors can help us to collect those granular data sets to create deep learning models. And then that will help us to predict.